Welcome to the webinar on Tinkercad for designing circuits using Arduino. Before we start, let me thank my colleague Dr. J. Bhaskar Rao sir, Sambasivam sir from SNS College of Technology and their coordinators for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge with all of you. And also, a form has been shared in the chat box by Sambasivam sir. I request all the participants to fill that form quickly. It doesn't take more than 2 minutes, and afterwards we'll continue with our webinar. Okay. The webinar objectives are introduction to Arduino Uno board. Here I'm going to show you what are the hardware components of the Arduino Uno board and what are the features of Arduino Uno board. And followed by I'll show you the installation of Arduino IDE, which is an open source software which will be helping us for writing this Arduino programming language. As we don't have any physical board here, we will be using this Tinkercad for building our circuits and writing the programs using this Arduino IDE, and we'll try to load these programs onto this Arduino board that is available in this Tinkercad. And these are all the following experiments that we are going to do in our webinar. One is, we are going to do a program like blinking the LED. We'll write a program to blink LED, and we'll make the circuit connections, and we'll try to see whether it is working good or not using this Tinkercad. Similarly, we'll try to blink this tricolor LED and also control this blinking of the tricolor LED using the push button. And we'll learn how to interface this LCD with the Arduino Uno board in order to display text message, followed by we'll also see how we can increase the count whenever a push button is pressed. When push button is pressed, the count need to get increased. So that we'll be seeing also. Then also we'll see how we interface the 7-segment display with the Arduino Uno board in order to display the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And lastly, we'll be looking at how we can measure the temperature, which is normally an analog in nature, which is being sensed using a temperature sensor that is available in the library through a serial monitor which is being equipped with this Arduino IDE, right? The webinar outcomes are maybe after the completion of this webinar, you should be able to have an awareness on how to use the Tinkercad for building circuits, and you should be in a position to write programs using Arduino IDE with the help of references that are available. Then one should be able to do some interactive projects on your own, right? So these are all the expected outcomes after the completion of the webinar. So let's begin. I will show you how to open the Tinkercad. Go to the browser and type tinkercad.com. It will bring us to a window how it looks like this. Okay, so this is how for the very first time it looks like this, and I will be going to sign in here. So when I press the sign in here, it will be asking us to sign in with several available platforms. So I will be signing here with the Google account. So sign in with Google. So if any Gmail account is there, that is sufficient for making use of this Tinkercad. So I was signing in with my Gmail account. And once I sign in, I'll show you how does the Tinkercad is going to look like. So this is how it is going to look like when I signed with my Gmail account. Here you can see that your name, because I have signed in with my Gmail account. Now, as we are interested in building the circuits, so let us click this circuits. So this is what we can observe. So these are all the various circuits that I have already done. So that is why it is displayed with so many circuits here. Otherwise, if you want to go for the new, you can go for a create new circuit. So I'll be pressing this create new circuit. It takes us to a place, what we call it as normally a workplace. So this is the place where we can build our circuits. So here you could see all the basic components that are available here. So I'll be dragging here. You could see all the components for your experimentation that are required are available here, and this is the place where you will be building your circuits. Okay. So when I try to observe what are the components that are there here, I could see my Arduino Uno board. So let me first explain you what is this board all about. So here, so this is what is an Arduino Uno board is. This IC is what is called a microcontroller. It is in general an Atmega 328P microcontroller. It consists of internal ROM, RAM, and Arduino bootloader. What is this bootloader means? It is used for executing the first program whenever the device is being powered up. Okay, whenever the device is connected to the power supply, this bootloader is going to execute the program. Okay, right. Then I hope you know about the microcontroller. Microcontroller is like the heart of the Arduino Uno board. So microcontroller is something like a mini computer uh, which performs a specific task or a specific application at a time. Okay, microcontroller normally performs a single task at a time. Unlike our microprocessor, microcontroller normally performs a single task and a specific application at a time. And you could see this microcontroller in almost all electronic devices, starting from portable music devices to ranging from like you could see these things in your printers. You could see the microcontrollers, washing machines, cars, motion detectors, whatnot. In almost everything, you could see this microcontroller. Okay, because everything is being automated, so normally microcontrollers you could find in our real time very frequently. And it also consists of, the board also consists of a digital input output pins. Okay, so this is a D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, and so on. Okay, so they are digital pins. They can be either high or low or on or off, right? You can program these pins to act as either inputs or outputs. So that is what we call it as a digital input output pin, right? And also you could see that pin 0 is what is denoted with RX. RX stands for receiving, and pin 1 is denoted with TX. TX stands for transmitting. These pin 0 and pin 1 are normally used for performing serial communication with other devices. Okay, so this pin 0 and pin 1 are normally used for performing serial communication with other devices. And also that you could see an LED beside this RX, an LED beside this TX. So these LEDs are going to glow depending upon transmission is taking place or reception is taking place. They are normally helpful uh, for troubleshooting the device if it is malfunctioning. Okay. Also, there are some A0 to A5 which are called normally analog pins. So they can be used only as input pins where they will be converting the taken analog signal into the digital signal. So dedicated 6 pins are available in the board to be used as analog pins. Okay, and you could see that VIN here. VIN is meant for accepting the input from the external devices, and there are 2 ground pins and a power supply 3.3 volts reset IO reference, and this is an unused pin. Okay, here is a reset button, and here is a USB interface which is helpful for connecting to our computer, and we can write a program to upload it to your board. Okay, and also this is a power adapter which is normally used for powering the board, right? Arduino boards normally accepts inputs such as light on a sensor, maybe like online Twitter message, anything can be an input. What it is going to do is it turns those inputs into outputs. Outputs may be like activating a motor or turning on an LED or simply sending a message online, maybe the output. So what is all that you need is you tell your board what to do by means of setting some instructions to the microcontroller. That's all. For doing all these things, what is all that you require is you need to write an Arduino programming language. You write a programming language. Uh, then you require an Arduino IDE software. It is an open source software which is helpful for processing these programs. Okay. So this Arduino programming language is very easy to understand with the help of their built-in functions. Just like any programming language, this Arduino programming language is also contains similar kind of things that we can understand very easily. So I'll show you now how we can install this Arduino IDE and how we can easily learn this Arduino programming language. Okay, so for installing this Arduino IDE, you need to go to this arduino.cc. When you go to this arduino.cc, then a window will open like this. Here you could see Arduino and go to the softwares, go to the downloads, click downloads, then it will show a window like this. You could see that download the Arduino IDE with a version of 1.8.13. You could see several platforms that are available here like Windows, Mac OS, Linux and so on. So depending upon your requirement, you can install any of the choice. When once you have installed, then when you after installing, when you open the Arduino IDE, I'll show you how it looks like. So Arduino IDE, when once you install and you open it, it looks like this. So I have installed and I was opening the for the very first time it looks like this. Okay, you could see several menus in the menu bar like file, edit, sketch, tools, help. Okay, and this Arduino IDE comes up with the two built-in functions. One is void setup function, another is a void loop function. Void setup function is meant for setting up the microcontroller, and void loop function is meant for executing the code that is there within the while loop indefinitely. That means to run the code repeatedly, this while loop function is being used. And also you can observe that by default, the programs in this Arduino environment are been saved with a name like sketch. That means each program is normally called as a sketch here. You could see that the name of this program as sketch underscore file name. So in general, in Arduino default Arduino program environment, the programs are saved as sketches. That means programs are normally called as sketches in the Arduino IDE environment. Here you can change the name of your program, right? So now let me show you some of the built-in functions that are available in this Arduino IDE. Go to the help reference. It will bring us to an offline page, and here you can observe that Arduino programs can be divided in three main parts. One is structure, as we have already seen about setup function, loop function. Like any other programming language, you could see control structures like if else, while, do while, and so on. You will be having the variables. You will be having the built-in functions. So here you could see some digital input output, uh, pin mode built-in function, digital write, digital read. Let me show you what is this pin mode built-in function. So when I press that pin mode, it gives me the description of the built-in function, the syntax, the parameters, and an example for a better understanding of this built-in function. So let us see what is this pin mode built-in function is. So it is written here that it configures the specified pin to behave either as an input or an output. So that means if I want to assign any pin that is available in the board to act as either input or output, then this pin mode is being helpful to me. So, okay. So the syntax is pin mode within open brackets pin comma mode. Suppose if the pin I have considered as some fourth pin, then the mode can be either input or output. So that means if I want to assign my pin to act as an input, then I'll make my mode as input. If I want my pin 4 to act as an output, then I'll make my mode as output. Okay. So these are the this is one of the most frequently used built-in function. So likewise, we can go for another built-in function, which is a digital write. In the digital write, the description is saying that it writes a high or a low value to a digital pin. So that means when we have considered, first thing is you take a pin and you assign it whether the mode can be either input or output. Then with the help of this digital write, you are making that pin to have either a high value or a low value. High may be a 5 volts or low may be a 0 volts. Okay. The syntax, it looks like this. Digital write within open brackets pin comma value. So whatever the value, maybe a high value or low value, that is being assigned to this particular pin number. Okay. So that is what is this digital write built-in function. Similarly, we have a digital read built-in function. Digital read built-in function. This digital read, it reads the value from the specified digital pin, that is either high or low. The syntax is digital read within open brackets that pin number. That means whatever the pin number you specify here, this command is going to read that either high or low value that is assigned to that particular pin. Okay. So, and it returns, unlike the earlier built-in functions, it returns either a high value or a low value depending upon whether it reads a high value on that pin or a low value on that pin. Okay. Yeah, these are the three important basic built-in functions that will be very frequently used, and depending upon our requirement, we'll move on to any of the required built-in functions or anything that is available here. We'll make a refer to that. Then we'll try to understand in making use in our Arduino programming language. Okay. So now we'll move on to this Tinkercad, and I'll show you how to blink this LED. Okay. So we'll first show the circuit connections of an LED for blinking the LED. Then I'll show you how we write the program using Arduino IDE. Then we'll load those program into the board and we'll see that how it is getting executed. Okay. So I'll show you a circuit connections of blinking LED. Okay. So I have already done all these things. So I will be using now for illustration purpose. So this is how the circuit connections are going to look like. Okay. I have taken an LED where LED is having on cathode terminal and anode terminal. Cathode terminal of the LED is connected to the ground of the Arduino board, and the anode terminal of the LED is connected through a resistor to a particular pin number of the Arduino Uno board. In particular, I have considered pin number 12 of the Arduino Uno board for connecting my anode of the LED to the board. And why do I require a resistor here is because I don't want the maximum current to flow through the LED so that my LED will not get damaged. Okay. So what is all that we have done is connected the cathode of the LED to the ground pin of the Arduino board, connected the anode of the LED through a resistor to the pin number 12 in the Arduino Uno board. So these are the simple connections, and we'll see that how do we write the code using this Arduino IDE. Then we will verify whether the code is correct or not. Then we'll try to upload it onto the physical board. Okay, right. So let me show you how to write a program for glowing this LED. Firstly, what I have to do is I have to assign my pin number 12 as an output. Okay, so the keyword built-in function is pin mode, and your pin number is 12, and you assign it as an output mode. You assign now your pin number 12 in the Arduino board as an output pin. Then in the loop function, in the void loop function, you are using another built-in function to write a high value to your pin number 12. Okay, a high value to your pin number 12. So what I have done simply is, as we have already seen that there are two default functions, void setup and void loop. Void setup is meant for setting up the microcontroller. That is why I had set a pin number 12 as an output using this built-in function pin mode. So pin number 12 has been assigned as a mode output. Then in the void loop function, I have written a built-in function digital write pin number 12 comma high. So that means pin number 12 is being assigned a high value. High value may be a 5 volts. So now what is expected is pin number 12 is connected to a high value, that is 5 volts, and this pin number 12 is in turn in our connections connected to the anode of the LED. So normally my LED is expected to glow with this program whatever we have written. Okay, so let me show you whether this program is right or not by verifying for its correctness, that is compiling this program. So let us go to this right mark and then click the right mark. Then it is showing here that compiling sketch. Normally programs are called as a sketch, and you can see that here it is compiling. So when once it is compilation is over, then what is the purpose of compilation? Compilation is meant for converting this Arduino programming language into your binary format so that your microcontroller can understand very easily, right? So compilation is being done, and now I need to upload this program onto the physical board. As I don't have any physical board, okay, see, you can see here when I press the upload here, okay, it tries to upload to the board if it had been physically connected. Now it is giving an error that serial port not selected. That means I don't have any physical board. This is where the Tinkercad is normally being used for executing our programs onto the Arduino Uno board. So because Tinkercad is providing the Arduino Uno board, we will go back to the Tinkercad, and there we will be using the code editor there for pasting this particular code, because we have verified that whether it is correct or not. Now I will be copying this and I will be trying to paste in this code editor. This is what is called as the code editor in the Tinkercad. We have come back to the Tinkercad, and I will be pasting here the code that I have written there, right? So now I'll try to execute simulation. So start simulate, then we will see what is the output that we could see. So what is the output that we could see is that LED is glowing now. When I stop the simulation, you could see that LED is off. When I start the simulation, you could see that LED is on. Alright. So why LED is on? Because LED anode is connected to the pin number 12, and pin number 12 is intentionally written or assigned a high value with the help of a digital write command. Okay. But I don't want this LED to glow alone. Instead, I want the LED to blink. In order to make my LED to blink, I will be using another built-in function like a delay, and I was writing here 1000. By default, this 1000 is telling 1000 milliseconds. So that means 1 second delay that I was using. Delay is a function which pauses the program for a certain amount of time, and that amount of time in this case is 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. So that means after once I make my pin number 12 high, my make sure that a delay of 1000 milliseconds is given here. See, what I have written is I have made my LED high for a duration of 1 second. Then I made my LED low for a duration of 1 second. As these are written in the void loop function, they are going to execute continuously. Okay, that is what void loop is meant for. Okay, it runs the code that is there in the void loop continuously. Okay, so what is expected is my LED should glow and off for a duration of 1 second. Okay, for 1 second on, for 1 second off. Let us see whether it is going to happen or not. So start simulation and observe your LED, and now you could see that your LED is glowing and off, switching on and off for a duration of 1 second. Okay, so this is what is our first experiment. What is all that we have done is we have taken our Arduino Uno board, one breadboard, LED, and a resistor. We have simply made a connection with my cathode connected to the ground of my Arduino Uno board, and I have connected the anode of the LED through a resistor to the pin number 12 of the Arduino Uno board. And how did I blink the LED? I was able to blink the LED by first assigning the pin number 12 a mode output. Then I was assigning a high value to the pin number 12 only for 1 second. Then I was assigning a low value to the pin number 12 only for 1 second. as I have written those things in the while loop function, my LED is going to blink continuously. Okay, so I was stopping here. Then I will show you how to blink the tricolor LED. This is a regular LED which is going to have only two terminals. Now I'll show you a tricolor LED which is going to have a four terminals. Okay, so I'll show you now that a tricolor LED. We'll be seeing that how to blink the tricolor LED. So here are the circuit connections. Everything is same like the earlier circuit, except that this tricolor LED is having four legs. Okay, here you could see that this is a red LED, this is a blue LED, and this is a green LED. These tricolor LEDs are normally of two types. One is common cathode type, another is common anode type. If it is a common cathode type, this cathode terminal needs to be connected to the ground of the Arduino Uno board, right? If it is an common anode type, then this anode needs to be connected to the 5 volts power supply of the Arduino Uno board. So that is the difference between a common cathode and a common anode. And the other things are connecting my LED through a resistor to a particular pin. In this case, a red color LED is connected to the pin number 10, blue color LED is connected to the pin number 11, and green color LED is connected to the pin number 12. Okay, it is exactly similar to what we have done earlier, except that it is a tricolor LED now. And we have to note that tricolor LEDs are of two types. One is a common anode, another is a common cathode. If it is a common cathode, this cathode lead need to be connected to the ground as usual. But unlike if it is a common anode type, then that lead needs to be connected to the power supply instead of a ground. That's all. Okay. So with this circuit connections, let us see how we can write the code for this circuit. Okay. See, earlier I have assigned only one pin as an output mode. Now, as I am having three LEDs, I have assigned three pins with an output mode. Okay, so pin number 10, I made it as an output. Pin number 11, I made it as an output. Pin number 12, I made it as an output. Okay, and in the wide loop, just like a single LED, if it would have been there, I have written a high value for a duration of 1 second, a low value for a duration of 1 second, followed by for the next LED, that is blue LED, high value for 1 second, low value for 1 second. Similarly, red LED, I made it high for 1 second, I made it low for 1 second. As these are in the wide loop function, they are supposed to execute indefinitely. Okay. So now what is expected as an output is when I run the simulation, it is expected that green light needs to glow on and off with a duration of 1 second, followed by blue light glowing and off with a duration of 1 second, followed by red light needs to glow and off with a duration of 1 second. This is what is expected when we run the simulation. Okay, so let us start simulation and let us understand that whether we are getting the same kind of output or not. So you could see that my LED is glowing now. So red color, then green color, then blue color. Okay, again it continues with red, green, and blue. RGB. Okay, so this is a three color LED, that is RGB. Right, as long as I was running the program, it starts continue to blink like this. Okay, so I was stopping this simulation. Now I will be showing you how I can have a control over the blinking of this LED. Okay, I will be using a push button in order to control the blinking of this LED. Okay, I'll show you the circuit connections first, then I'll show you how to write the program uh, in order to ensure that control of blinking of the tricolor LED can be taken place. Okay, so here is the circuit connections. Yeah, so the circuit connections are going to look like this. They are exactly same, except that I have brought in a push button. Here my components, I could see a push button here. I brought it here. Okay, so this push button is having four legs: terminal 2A, terminal 2B, terminal 1B, and terminal 1A. Okay, internally this terminal 1B and terminal 1A are shorted together. and internally terminal 2A and terminal 2B are shorted together. Whenever I press the push button, these two legs, this 2A 2B leg and 1A 1B leg are going to get connected together. That is what is the functioning of the push button. Whenever I press the push button, this leg and this leg are going to get connected together. So what I have done is I have connected to this leg to the pin number, let us say 7, and I have connected to this leg of the push button to the 5 volts of the Arduino Uno board. So whenever I press the push button, what is going to happen? This 7th pin is being given a value of 5 volts. Okay, so that is what is going to happen when I press the push button. These two legs are going to get connected together, and when what I have connected to this leg is pin number 7. What I have connected to this leg is 5 volts. When I press the push button, pin number 7 is connected to the 5 volts. Okay, and also you could see that a resistor has been connected from this terminal to the ground. Okay, so even when you don't press this push button, then also some voltage need to be passed, otherwise your microcontroller is going to become idle. Okay, so in order to make some voltage to pass it on, I have connected a resistor with which a 0 volts is being passed to the ground, right? So now let us see how I can modify the code in order to see that how my LED can be controlled using this push button. Okay, look at here. So in the void setup function, in addition, what is that I have done is I have assigned a pin 7 as a mode input. Okay, so I made pin 7 as an input, so that whenever I press the push button, my pin 7 can be made high. When I don't press the push button, my pin 7 can be made low, right? Okay, in the void loop function, I have used a control function like if statement. If digital read of 7 is equal to high. What is the meaning of that? Digital read of 7 means pin number 7 is being read with the help of this built-in function, and if it is found to be high, then all these things are being executed. Because they are in the while loop, all these things are going to be executed. Okay, if pin number 7 is not high, then nothing is going to be executed. So what is expected is, until and otherwise I press the push button, no LED should glow. Okay, so only upon pressing the push button, only then my tricolor LED is going to glow. When my tricolor LED is glowing, what is expected? I expect to see a red color LED to glow, followed by green, followed by blue, RGB, right? And that too, it should happen only upon pressing the push button. When I release the push button, that cycle has to stop. Okay, so let us see whether it is happening or not by running the simulation. So you could see now that no glowing of the LED is taken place. Earlier, the moment I have started simulation, the LED starts glowing. But now it will not happen until and otherwise I press the push button. So when I press the push button, now you could see that your LED is glowing. Okay, your LED glows only for one cycle. That is glowing red, green, and blue. When once that cycle is over, it stops again blinking because my push button is no more made high. Only then my blinking of LED is going to take place. Again, when I press the push button, again it starts blinking. When once the cycle is completed with all the three LEDs, again it stops blinking. If you want to have a continuous blinking, keep on pressing this push button. As long as your push button is high, then your LED keeps on blinking like that with a cycle like red, green, blue, red, green, blue, and so on. Okay, so this is how we can bring a control of uh, blinking this LED with the help of your push button, right? So now I'll show you how we can interface an LCD with your Arduino Uno board, and we'll see how we can have a display of a text message. Okay, before we see how do we interface the LCD, I'll show you what is the pin configuration of the LCD. Here is the LCD display, how it looks like. Okay, so let me show you what are all the pins and what are they meant for. Here is the first pin denoted with ground, and the second pin denoted with VCC, and the third pin VO, a register select, read write, enable, And this D0 to D7 all are called as data pins. So total 8 data lines are available, and this is pin number 15 and followed by pin number 16. Okay, so this is normally a ground pin. This is normally usually should be connected to the ground pin of the Arduino Uno board, and this is a power pin denoted by VCC. This should be connected to the 5 volts of the Arduino Uno board, and this is a VIVO pin which is normally meant for controlling the contrast of the LCD. Okay, and this is a register select. This register select can act as either a command register or a data register. When this register select is made 0, it is going to act as a command register. It can write the commands onto the LCD. When it is made as a 1, it is going to act as a data register. Then it is going to send data to the LCD. And the read write is meant for either to write data onto the LCD or to read the data from the LCD. When read write is made 0, then we can write data to the LCD. When read write is made 1, then we can read data from the LCD. This enable pin will enable the LCD to accept the information for further processing. Okay, and this D0 to D7 all are meant for data lines. This LED anode and LED cathode are normally called backlight pins of the LCD, and this LED anode can be connected to the power supply of the Arduino Uno board. LED cathode will be connected to the ground of the Arduino Uno board. Okay, so now we will see uh, how to make the connections for interfacing this LCD with our Arduino Uno board. Okay, I'll show you the connection details of this LCD Arduino Uno board. So this is how the connections are going to look like. Just wait for a second. Yes, this is how the connections are going to look like. Okay, here a potentiometer is being used. Potentiometer is normally used for controlling the contrast of the LCD. So that is why, as it is having 3 terminals, one terminal is being connected to the ground. So this is the ground of the LCD. So one terminal of the potentiometer is connected to the ground, and the another terminal of the potentiometer is connected to the VCC or the 5 volts of the Arduino Uno board. Okay. And the middle one, which is a wiper, is connected to the contrast or the VIVO of the LCD pin. So normally we know that VIVO pin or third pin is meant for controlling the contrast of the LCD. That is why we have connected to the potentiometer in order to control the brightness of the LCD. And the next pin is register select. As I mentioned earlier, register select is going to act as either a command register or a data register, and it is being connected to the pin number 12. Okay, so you could see that this is connected to the pin number 12 of the Arduino Uno board. And next is a register read write. Read write, we know that read write is made 0 means we are writing to the LCD. So that is why it is being connected to the ground of the Arduino Uno board. And next is enable. This enable pin is being connected to the pin number 12 of the Arduino Uno board. So register select is connected to the pin 12, and enable pin is connected to the pin 11 of the Arduino Uno board. And this D0 to D7, total 8 data lines, but out of 8 data lines, only I have connected D4 to D7 to the pin numbers 5, 4, 3, 2 respectively of the Arduino Uno board. Okay, out of the 8 data lines available in the LCD display, only D4, D5, D6 and D7 are connected to the pin numbers respectively pin number 5, 4, 3, 2 of the Arduino Uno board. Okay, and lastly these LCD backlight pins, anode is connected to the power supply of the Arduino Uno board and cathode is connected to the ground of the Arduino Uno board. So these are all the connections. So the connections are over. We will see that how do we write a program for performing this particular experiment. Okay, before we write a program, What is that we have to do is, we have to include the library which is a liquid crystal library. Okay, so for that I'll show you. Go to the help, go to the reference, and you can go to this offline page. Then you click the libraries here. Then in the libraries you could see several libraries, standard libraries, and out of this you could find a liquid crystal library for controlling the liquid crystal displays. And when you are brought to this liquid crystal display, this library allows to an Arduino board to control liquid crystal displays. Okay, so there are some functions available here. So you see that, let me press this liquid crystal function and see what is this function is. So this liquid crystal function creates a variable of type liquid crystal, and the display can be controlled using 4 or 8 data lines. How many data lines our liquid LCD display is having? 8 data lines. So we can control the display using either 4 data lines or 8 data lines. Okay, so you could see here the syntax: liquid crystal within brackets RS. RS stands for register select, enable, and the data lines D4, D5, D6, D7. Okay, so in the second syntax there is a read write, but in the first syntax there is no read write. Okay, so we will be using this first syntax because we made this read write we are connected to the 0. That means we are writing to the LCD. So that is why it is a by default. If we don't connect, if you don't mention this read write, it means that it is connected to 0. That means we are writing onto the LCD. So we will be going with this first syntax, where the parameters are register select, enable, D4, D5, D6, D7. Okay, and also there is one more important function like begin. Let us see what is this begin is. This begin function is going to initializes the interface to the LCD and specifies the dimensions, width and height of the display. The syntax is lcd.begin within brackets columns comma rows. Okay, so I'll show you in this LCD display. It is coming up with dimensions like, so when I press the LCD, you could see here that the LCD is 16 by 2. 16 stands for number of columns, 2 stands for number of rows. So that means whatever the LCD display that we have considered is capable of displaying 16 characters in 2 rows. There are 2 rows, 0th row and first row, and in each row it is capable of displaying up to 16 characters. So that is what the dimension of LCD is. 16 stands for columns, 2 stands for rows. Okay, right. So now let us see that how we can write the program for executing this particular program. So I'll show you how to add the library. Go to the sketch, include library, and go to this liquid crystal. Then here you could see that hash include liquid crystal.h. That means the library liquid crystal has been added here. Okay. Also, okay, so this is how the program is going to look like. Here we have added the library for the liquid crystal, hash include liquid crystal.h, and we have just seen that syntax liquid crystal LCD within brackets this register select, enable, and the 4 data pins D4, D5, D6, D7. Okay, so as we have connected the data pins 4, 5, 6, 7 of the LCD to the 5, 4, 3, 2 pins of the Arduino Uno board. And in the void setup, we have begin with a command like lcd.begin 16, 2. As I mentioned, 16 represents columns and 2 represents rows. So this command is going to initiate the interface to the LCD. If you want, before you want to do anything with the LCD, this is a must for initiating your LCD. Okay. So then there is a command like set cursor 0, 0. So that means I was asking my cursor to be at 0th column and 0th row. Then with a command like lcd.print, I was asking to print this header, that is hello everyone. And again lcd.set cursor. This time I want to set my cursor to the 0th column and first row. as I said that there are two rows. In the 0th row, 0th column, I want to have a printing of this, and in the 0th column and the first row, I want to have a printing of this. Okay. So now I have not put anything on in the void loop. So still it has to be there because it is a default function that comes with the Arduino IDE environment. So let us start simulation and let us see how it is going to get executed. Okay, you could see that hello everyone and good morning that is being displayed on your LCD. Okay. So now I am going to show you how to have a increment of the count with the help of this LCD display. So that means I am going to use now a push button. Okay, I am going to use now a push button so that whenever I press the push button, this count needs to get incremented. Okay, so I am going to show you now to display 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on whenever I press the push button. Okay, instead of a text, now I want to display the numbers depending upon uh, my pressing the push button. Okay, so let me show you how these are the circuit connections. Okay, these are the circuit connections. Everything is same except that this time I was using the push button. The usage of push button is already been discussed earlier when we have used the push button for controlling the blinking of the tricolor LED. The same is the case even here also. Only thing that one of the leg of the push button is now connected to the pin number 13. Earlier it is been connected to the pin number 7. That's all. That is the difference. Otherwise everything is same. We have made use of a resistor connected to the ground. Okay. Let me show you how to write the code in order to make sure that upon pressing the push button, display of numbers is going to take place. Okay. So let me show you the code. So the code is like this. So an additional statement that is being written here is initializing a variable count to 0 with a type int. Then in the void setup function, I have initialized my LCD display, and here pin number 13 is being assigned a mode input because pin number 13 is connected to the push button that is present in this circuit diagram. And in the void loop, I have used a control statement like if digital read of 13 is equal to high. So that means whenever I press the push button, 13 is being assigned a high value. Whenever 13 is being assigned a high value, then you do all these things. What it has to do? It has to set the cursor at 0th column, 0th one, 0th row, and it has to print count plus plus. Count plus plus means earlier count is 0, now it is going to become 1, and it is going to print that. Okay. How long it is going to do? As long as 13 is high, and while digital read of 13 is high. So you know that while loop is going to be executed indefinitely until the expression is going to become false. So that means until my pin number 13 is going to become low, these things are going to get executed. So that means as long as my pin number is high, its count is going to get incremented, right? So let us see that how does this function is going to get executed after simulation. So now let us wait for completion of the simulation. Yes, now we have nothing to get displayed here uh, until and otherwise we press the push button, nothing is going to get displayed. Okay, because we have written a condition that until and otherwise my 13th pin is made high, nothing is to be done. So and when it is going to be made high? Only when my push button is pressed. When my push button is pressed, initially it is going to become 0, and when I once again I press, it is going to become 1. Once again 2, 3, 4. So depending upon whenever I press the push button, the count is going to get incremented. Okay, so this is how we are able to show a counting sequence depending upon the pressing the push button. Okay, so I will be stopping this simulation, and now I'll show you how to connect a 7-segment display. Okay, so far we have seen several circuits. So now I am going to show you a 7-segment display. So these are the circuit connections for the 7-segment display. So as we all are aware that 7-segment display is going to contain 7 segments. This is segment A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Okay, of course dot is also there. And what we are going to do now is 7 segments are normally coming up with two types. One is common cathode or common anode. In common cathode, there are two COM pins. So these two COM pins need to be connected to the ground in a common cathode type 7-segment display. If it is a common anode, then all these COM pins need to be connected to the positive power supply. Okay, right. So now let us see that what I have done here is I have looked at where is my segment A, segment B, segment C, segment D. Okay, so depending upon where my segment A, B, C, D, E, F, G are there, I have connected those segments respectively to the pin numbers 2. That means segment A is connected to 2, B is connected to 3, C is connected to 4, D is connected to 5, and so on so forth. Only thing is that 7th pin is not connected. Okay, so all the respective segments A to G are connected to a particular pins in the order like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8, 9, and the two COM pins are being connected through resistors to the ground. Okay, so this is nothing but to the ground. So the two COM pins are connected to the resistors. The two COM pins are connected through resistors to the ground. Okay, so these are the circuit connection details. And now let us see how we can modify the code for displaying the numbers. Let us say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next in the void setup, I have written a code for displaying 0. As we know that for displaying 0 in the 7 segment, G segment has to be made low. So the G segment which is assigned to the pin number 9 has made low here, whereas all the other segments are being made high. Then I have given a delay of 1 second. So that means 0 is going to get displayed for 1 second, followed by I am going to display 1. For displaying 1, B and C only need to be high, whereas all others need to be low. So B and segment and C segment were made high, whereas all the other segments were made low. So this is going to show a 1 on my 7-segment display and for a delay of 1 second. Again I am trying to show a 2. For 2, my A, B need to be glown and my D, E need to be glown in addition to the G. Okay, just looking at my 7-segment display, identifying which segments need to glow for displaying a particular number, then followed by a delay, let us say 1 second. Okay, so I have written code like this for displaying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember that I have written nothing in the void loop. So though there is nothing in the void loop, still the program is going to get executed, and you should use indefinitely this void loop function whether you use it or not, because this void setup function and void loop functions are being coming up with the Arduino IDE environment as a default function. Okay, so let us try to simulate this and try to understand how does my output is going to look like. Here you could see that it is displaying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when once 4 is over, it is going to stop at that time. Okay, so I'll stop it. I'll start simulation again. You could see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and stop. Okay, right. And lastly, I'm going to show you now how do we make use of the serial monitor that is available in the Arduino IDE. Okay, I will show you how we are going to use the serial monitor for observing these analog values rather than the digital. How do we read the analog values? I'll be showing you now. So this circuit is exactly as simple as what we have done earlier, like displaying the glowing this LED. So the same is the circuit, but only thing is, let me show you the code in what way I have modified the code. So in the void setup, I have assigned my pin number 13 as a mode output. And here what is important here is command like serial.begin. This serial.begin is what is going to initialize the serial communication with the other devices. And this 9600 is what is called a baud rate, that is the number of bits per second that are being transmitted. So the serial dot begin is going to initiate a serial communication. That means it sets the data rate in bits per second serial transmission. Okay, so that is what a new command that I have made used here. Otherwise, it is as similar to as earlier case one. Then I have taken a variable like delay time. I have assigned a value of 1000. Okay, so I have taken a variable of delay time. I have assigned a value of 1000, and in the void loop function, I was trying to decrement this delay time from 1000 by 100. Okay, so that means each time I want to decrement my delay time by 100. Okay, so initially it is made 1000, so immediately I was making it 900, then 800, then 700, and so on so forth. Then automatically it gets become 0, and even it goes to negative. Then I was trying to reset my delay time again to the 1000 by using this control function, like if delay time is less than or equal to 0, because of its getting decremented by an amount of 100, it may go even less than or equal to 0. When once it is happening, then you again reset your delay time to 1000. That is what is being done here. Then with the help of a command like serial.print, I was trying to print whatever that is there in the header here, that is delay time is equal to. And in the next command, that is serial.println, the difference between serial.print and serial.println is it tries to display this the next time in the whenever. That means serially whatever the output that it comes to your microcontroller, it makes to display in the next line. That is what is the difference between serial.print and serial.println. Okay, then this digital write 13 is made high for a delay time and 13 is made low for a delay time. Okay, so let us see after simulation what is going to be the output. Okay, so what is expected is, with respect to a physical observation, simply a mere glowing of LED with a duration of delay time. Okay, on for a delay time, off for a delay time. But this time delay time is not mentioned by you. You said that it is initialized to 1000 and you are trying to vary that. Okay, so accordingly your delay in either on and off by your LED is going to get varied depending upon that particular time what is the delay time. Okay, let us see what is this output is going to be. So you could see here very carefully that delay time is going to vary depending upon what exactly the delay time is upon performing an operation like decrementing by 100 also. Okay, so now what is so different when compared to the earlier glowing of LED and now is, you observe the serial monitor, which is something like an analog format. So you could find out that how does this delay time is getting varied based on your operations that you perform. Okay, initially it is being 1000, then it is coming to 900, 800. All those things you can observe serially. Okay, so in the serial monitor you can observe all those things. Mm, when once it is made to 100, the next thing is it goes to 0. Whenever it goes to 0, you are resetting again to the 1000, again it comes to 900, 800. This is the process that it is keep on happening, and these delay times, varied delay times are being made used by your LED in glowing. Okay, so this is what I would like to show you, that making use of this serial monitor which is available with the Arduino IDE. Okay, so with the help of this thing, even we can measure the temperature also. Okay, I'll show you how we can measure the temperature with the help of this serial monitor also. Okay, so let me show you how to measure this temperature with the help of this serial monitoring. Okay, so these are the circuit connections. So I have considered an Arduino Uno board, one breadboard, and one temperature sensor. Okay, so this is a temperature sensor which is TMP36. Okay, so this temperature sensor is going to have three terminals. One is power supply terminal, one is output terminal, another is ground terminal. What is this temperature sensor is going to do is, it is going to sense the temperature and it is going to give an output some analog value, some analog voltage. Okay, so that voltage is being connected to the analog pin of the Arduino Uno board. Okay, so this power supply pin is connected to the 5 volts of the Arduino Uno board, and the ground pin is connected to the ground pin of the Arduino Uno board, but the output of the temperature sensor is connected to the one of the analog pins of the Arduino Uno board. Because the output of the temperature sensor is analog in nature, it is being connected to the one of the analog pin of the Arduino Uno. Okay, so but temperature sensor does not give the output directly in degrees Celsius. It gives an output in an analog value, and we need to convert that analog value into the degrees Celsius, and then we need to get it displayed. Okay, so let me show you how do we write the code for displaying the temperature which is being sensed from the temperature sensor. Okay, so for that what I have done is I have taken an sense pin is equal to A0. Okay, so this is the Arduino pin. As I have shown you that in the Arduino, A0 to A5 are the analog pins, and out of which A0 is being connected to the output of the temperature sensor. Okay, so this A0 will read the value given by the temperature sensor. And sensor input. This sensor input is used to store the sensor output, sensor input. Okay, this sensor input, the name itself, sensor input is going to read the sensor input. Whatever the temperature sensor is giving some value, that it is being read by this pin number A0, and we are going to read in turn from the pin number A0 what is there in it with the help of another command. That is what we have assigned to a variable like sensor input. And then lastly another variable like double, which is temp. Temp stands for like temperature. So as our temperature is normally of a floating type, we have used the type like double temp. Okay, so this is for converting your voltage levels into the degree Celsius for displaying your temperature. Okay, so this normally stores your temperature in degrees Celsius. Okay, then in the void setup I have initialized this serial communication, that is serial dot begin within brackets 9600. This is the default baud rate. So baud rate means the number of bits per second that are being transmitted. Okay, in the void loop what I have done is I have taken sensor input is equal to, what is the purpose of sensor input? I want to read, I want to know what is being given by the temperature sensor to the pin A0. Okay, so I want to read what is there in the A0 with the help of a command like analog read. Okay, then I was putting that red value from the analog pin A0 to the variable sensor input. Then I was taking that sensor input, and I was dividing by 1024. Okay, and I was multiplying with 5. Then I was subtracting from 0.5. Then I was multiplying by 1. All these things are some necessary math required for converting the value that is sensed by your temperature sensor in reading the temperature to get it converted into this degrees Celsius. That's all. Otherwise, there is nothing much more to be dealt with these things. So this is simply meant for manipulating your mathematics of converting your voltage into the degrees Celsius. Okay, then lastly what we are doing is we are printing with the help of serial dot print ln temperature followed by string of temp. String of temp means it is going to display whatever that is there in the variable temp, plus it displays as it is whatever it is there in the quotation marks, that is degrees centigrade. Okay, so this is how we can easily represent for reading the temperature using your temperature sensor. Okay, so this time I could not see anything that is there in the temperature sensor, but I can make use of the serial monitor for observing what is there in the temperature. Okay, so let me start simulation and let us try to observe what is the output. You could see that current temperature is some 24.7 degrees centigrade. Okay. So this is how we can make use of the serial monitor available with the Arduino IDE also for our reading analog signals also. Okay. So with this, so I will be stopping here. Sambe Sevam sir, from my side it is over. So if anyone is having any queries, they can ask.